Welcome to A Word with the Girls. I'm Abby, and I'm joined with my sisters, Molly and Emily. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram at Word with the Girls. And if you have not subscribed to our podcast on Spotify, go click that follow button so you don't miss an episode. We would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or even a word that you would like for us to discuss, make sure to comment on our Spotify, our Instagram, and your word could be featured in our future episode. Before we dive into our word for the day, let's just catch up. How is everybody doing so far?
Yeah, doing okay.
Doing good.
Mm-hmm. The weather's finally getting colder in Grand Junction, which is nice because it's hot here.
How about you, Em?
Yeah, super busy. Recently got back from a super fun trip. After we were together in Grand Junction, I then headed to Crested Butte and spent a week rock climbing with this amazing group, this organization called First Descents. They do outdoor adventures for young people living with MS and cancer. And so I spent a week on the crag with other MS warriors, and it was just so life-giving, and that was just like really, really special. So that was kind of a very fun thing. But yeah, I'm loving the cooler temperatures. We had chili tonight for dinner, so it really felt like fall.
Nice.
So
Yeah, we're doing good. We have some friends coming into town for the weekend, and so we're excited about that. They're a group of friends from Colorado Springs that we've just, stayed in touch with, and so that's exciting. I feel like the fall weather is always just a fun shift for the kids, and going to the pumpkin patch here this weekend, and just excited for all those fall activities with the kiddos.
fun.
Yeah, it's good. Work is really insane. Anyone in education can probably vouch for that. But I'm working really hard to have good boundaries and not take work home. So I've been able to do some fun stuff on the weekends. Just going to see the fall colors and doing some hiking and slowly building community here. It's slow going, making friends at this age, but um, I've had some really fun opportunities to get to know some new people, and it's just really cool to see things kind of come together.
So fun.
Yeah.
You know, one new thing that I started doing more recently is subbing for the school district. And Molly, I have so many questions for you. I feel like I'm going to be texting you every day for tips on how to manage classrooms. I've subbed for high school and middle school. This week I'm doing elementary. And so far I'm enjoying high school the most. Middle schoolers scare me. And I don't know about elementary yet. So, I feel like I'm going to be reaching out for some tips on how to manage classrooms, but it's fun.
Sure. Yeah, that's a hard gig. I did it for like a year and a half straight as like a semi full-time job, and the variety is fun, and like not having to be fully in charge or like grading and all of that. But kids just have like this innate thing in them that makes them treat substitutes poorly. Even the best kids, they just like, it's like fun. It's like their opportunity to prank people and just like be cheeky, and it's wild.
I'm totally guilty of it. I'm sure there's some sort of I don't know, not like we believe in karma, but I'm getting what's coming to me because I totally treated subs terribly growing up. And I mean, even the kids for the middle school, they had told their teacher like, oh, a sub's coming, we're going to make her miserable. And, but it's fun. And yeah, I can work every day if I want, because there's such a high need. So, so I will report back on how elementary goes. It's only a half day, so it's like a little ease into elementary school. Nice. So shall we dive into our word for the day?
Let's do it.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, we have like a bank of, 50 some words. And so Molly, will you choose the number 1 to 48?
37.
Ooh, oh, this one will be fun. Okay.
Oh, man.
I really want to do a drum roll, please. The word is desserts.
Okay.
Oh.
Interesting.
Desserts. What comes to mind when you think of the word desserts?
For me, there's a couple. Two of my favorite desserts, crack pie. That's something you can get here at Bin 707. And the other one is raspberry pie. So raspberry pie, a Marie Callender's pie,
Right, the frozen kind.
frozen.
right?
You buy it in the frozen section
Mhm.
and you bake it. It takes like 2 hours to bake. It's ridiculous. But that was Alex and I's like happy place as first time parents. I bought that pie. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Once a month. And we would bake it and eat it once Amelia was down for the night and eat it with ice cream. We'd eat it for breakfast. But that dessert was like the best.
That is a good pie.
And then, yeah, crack pie. It's a Momofuku recipe. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But there's a cute restaurant here called Bin 707, and they have crack pie. And it's like this brown sugar, buttery oatmeal slice of pie with vanilla on top with a cup of decaf. Oh, so good.
Okay, all this talk about pie. I don't know if you guys will remember this, but do you remember that random restaurant on I-17 headed down to Phoenix?
Yes.
Rock
Oh my gosh, Rock Springs.
Rock Springs. And it was like this
Yes.
like hole in the wall, weird little like place.
Oh,
But that's where
yeah.
we would go and get pie. Didn't they have
They
like a
were
really
famous.
delicious pies?
Yeah, they were famous for their pie selection.
A la mode.
I like.
Oh, that's funny.
Like as
Whoa.
your that's like where my mind took me automatically. And the other thing, when we would like travel for soccer, we'd always end up there and they had like these like funny little like electric horses out in the front and like
Yes.
I don't know, like that just like totally took me back. So yeah,
Wow.
that's just so
That's
I
funny.
remember another story from that place.
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember with the squishing of something and it?
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh,
Molly, would you
man.
like to recount this story? Was it you?
Yes, it was.
Of course, it was her perfectly coiffed bangs.
Oh man. I mean, I suppose this is inevitable. This is the whole point of this activity, right? Is for the stories to come up too. But no, that is true. So yeah, Rock Springs, it's like this like divey diner place. And it's on the way to Phoenix. So we grew up in Flagstaff, but anytime we flew anywhere, we would fly out of Phoenix and it was like 2 hours away. So I think we were on our way to see our grandparents in Texas.
Oh, okay.
I think. And we had stopped there
For breakfast?
For breakfast or lunch or something. Yeah. And they had like the like little jelly packets on the table. And I don't know, I was bored and I was like holding it and just like squishing it back and forth in front of my face, like literally in front of my face.
Oh my god.
And like, yeah, sure enough, it was like squish, 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 and then like all over my face, like all in my hair and down the front of my shirt.
Oh.
And at the time, yes, I did have bangs. And
perfectly coiffed bangs.
my bangs were the actual bane of my existence. I hated them so much because they never looked perfect. And
well, at that time, weren't they like they tried to make like the goal with bangs was
just like the one curl. Yeah. So and there was just like no coming back from like washing jelly out of your hair.
Demolished bangs.
So anyways, thanks Abby for bringing that up.
This is the power of stories and, you know, word assimilation where our minds go. When I think of desserts too, Molly, I don't know when you became like, you know, America's star baker, but I feel like you were always making some of the most delicious, challenging desserts with your KitchenAid that you named.
Mm. Yes, I do have a KitchenAid. Her name is Mabel, and she was probably like my most adult purchase. Like, and she's not very, like, I got her a few years ago. Um, and yeah, I love it.
It's the perfect color too.
It is. It's like dark teal. She's beautiful. I got her on Facebook Marketplace, brand new. Yeah, I feel like baking is something I started doing kind of during COVID, actually. Because prior to that, I was like living in interesting living situations where I didn't really have like a full kitchen. But I don't know. I've never been much of a cook, but I do like to bake, probably because I like to follow. I like to follow a recipe. I like to follow the rules. I like to do everything perfectly and then like have a nice finished product at the end. Um, and so it just like, yeah, plays to all those parts of who I am. But no, I mean, I love sweets and just I love trying new things too. So my most recent dessert that I made are these cookies. They're maple white chocolate walnut cookies,
They're so good.
and
No
they
nuts.
taste like fall. And yeah, and I took them to some people who I'm like are kind of like new friends, and I think I might have won them over with the cookies. So that's one way that you can make friends as an adult. Just make baked goods for people.
That's a good way. Yeah, they're so good. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I think nuts and things like usually I'm like, you are ruining the brownies.
Yes.
Don't put nuts in the brownies.
Right.
But these, it works. It works. Usually I'm like, chocolate chip cookies need to just be chocolate chip cookies. But these with the white chocolate and the maple, it's almost like the crumble that's on top of sweet potato casserole at Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the vibe it gives me sometimes. It's good.
Yum. You know, it's so interesting. I feel like that is a gift that was directly given via mom. Like growing up, our mom is an amazing baker, and we grew up with like around baked goods all the time. Scones. She had her own business, where we get maybe that entrepreneurial side of things. And then every Christmas, I remember she would make very specific Christmas dessert goodies that we would make, package, and then deliver all over Flagstaff. And so, yeah. So I think it's just
the
kind of
bubbling brown sugar for the cold coffee. I can still like smell it, or them taking the trays out with the saltines buttered into the garage, and
yum.
just getting to help with all of that. Man,
I will say those do have nuts on them, and I don't mind it.
yeah, I know.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
but this is where
Emily, what's like your favorite dessert you've ever had?
I was trying to think. I know this flavor is not for everybody, but I think Kevin and we were on a date maybe shortly after we were married, and we got a lavender creme brulee, and it was really good.
That's surprising.
I really
that
like
you
lavender.
that. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't usually like custardy things, but there's something about the crackly, crunchy top. But yeah, lavender creme brulee, and I feel like that was like a really unique, delicious dessert. But honestly, I'll go for anything chocolate. The thing is I don't like baking because I don't follow rules. I don't Mom hates it baking with me or cooking with me because I don't follow rules. However, I was recently introduced to sourdough by some friends from a church group, and that requires measuring by weight. And then I learned to appreciate it. So and we were gifted a KitchenAid by Kevin's best friend. It was his mom's, and so that has like a special connotation now when we use that KitchenAid. So,
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like baking either, and it's kind of for the same reasons. I'm like, I just want to add how much I want. Like, don't tell me what to do, recipe. And I think I get more stressed out the other side of perfectionism of like, if it doesn't work out, I've wasted this ingredient. I have wasted my time. So I'm just going to say no. So
Mhm.
I don't do anything. But then it allows for like Molly and mom to have a special connection, like with my kids.
Mhm.
They know that they're always going to bake something with Nana or Momo. And I'm like, I'm good with that being yours. I don't want it. You're good at it. So
Mhm. Well, you all will be surprised. So Kevin has this desire to do some sort of a Christmas treat. I think he was kind of inspired by mom, and so I'm not going to give it away, but we have this idea of making something um, for Christmas, like a Christmas treat that's like
I love
desserty.
that.
So
Like to give away or
Mhm.
like when you
yeah,
okay.
to give
Very
away.
cool.
Hmm
Nice.
So we'll see. You know, we'll see. Like it's kind of that thing, like what we thought would look like versus like how it turns out. And it could be like a totally
Sure.
nailed it thing or a mess. So I'll
Mhm.
keep you posted on the secret Riley Christmas treat. So
Desserts is so funny because having kiddos every night, Mommy, can I have something for dessert? And some nights we're like, yeah, sure. And other nights we're like, no. We gauge it on, did you eat all your dinner? Have you already had sweets today? But there's just something about capping the night with a dessert in a kid's world or an adult world, really.
Yeah.
That's just like, no, that's like the finale of the day. You do
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
It's just funny how there's comfort in ending your day with dessert, or like the goal, you go on a run so you can enjoy something
Mhm.
sweet, it's funny.
Or yeah, a nice cap to any meal. I feel like sometimes I have like breakfast dessert, lunch dessert, dinner dessert, snack dessert, like always ending with something sweet.
Yep.
Um, I feel like it's part of our family culture, but then I've also just like found myself surrounded by people who really value dessert.
Mm-hmm.
So, like our grandparents, you know, were known for their sweet tooth. And we have another grandparent who like pie and coffee is like
Mm.
true to who he is. And I think um like I'll never be able to think of pie and not think of that
Mhm.
that rhythm of like stopping to get pie and coffee. So I think it's just like part of, I mean, pardon the pun, but it's like baked into who we are.
Mm.
And um and I had, friends in Indonesia who we would always do these random meals called Best Bite. And it was kind of like a charcuterie situation, but like it was always really important to talk about what are we going to get for dessert though? Like what is dessert going to be? And so, yeah, I think when I think of dessert, I think of like just really quality time with quality people. And I think there's something, like you celebrate with dessert and you commemorate with dessert and you like holiday traditions and all of that stuff. So it's just like really, really special. So that's probably part of the reason why I love making baked goods because one, I mean, I love to impress people with my skills. There's nothing better than like having people be like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, what did you do? Um, but it just like brings people together. So,
Well, and I
yeah.
even just think about tonight. One of my friends, she invited us to the gazebo in our neighborhood to introduce our family to another family that just moved here who happened to also be homeschoolers. And it was specifically over dessert. And she makes this delicious, I mean, it's like a graham cracker crust, cheesecakey filling, and cherry filling on top. It's a very basic homemade cherry cheesecake, but she brought this same cheesecake to my house after we had Annie, and I demolished it. Um, and anyway, she brought that tonight. And so it was just like this opportunity to bring a group of people together to have dessert, but also to build community too. So, and I feel like dessert is pretty, for non-committal people, it's easy to commit to, like, okay, yes, I can have dessert it's not like an evening long commitment,
Mhm.
you know.
Before this podcast, Kevin decided to buy Halloween candy early, which I was like, terrible idea. We're not going to have any left by Halloween, right? And so we have these like containers of Halloween candy. And so I had a couple of pieces, just that sweet little nightcap. So it's true.
Yes.
Mm.
Or the candy corn and peanuts.
Also very good.
Staple, fall staple.
All staple. I have it on my counter. The little pumpkin thing.
Sweet and salty.
I'm trying to think of the best dessert I've ever had. Actually, I did have this summer when I went to Ireland and Scotland. We got to eat at some like kind of fancy places, and there was a really good pavlova at this one place. That's
What's
like that. It's like crunchy meringue. So it's like meringue, and then there's but it's like pillowy and soft in the middle. So it's kind of like marshmallow, but like crunchy on the outside. And then there's like sorbet and berries and cream, and it all just kind of like goes together, and it's so good. And it was kind of the first time I'd ever had like a fancier version of it. And I just remember like loving every component of it.
Yum.
It was very good. Also had like really good sticky toffee pudding, which is like a Scottish thing. That was amazing as well. Man, I could talk about dessert for a long time.
Well, before we moved to Illinois, we went on this like epic road trip on the East Coast so Kevin could hit his like 50th state. And when we were in Bar Harbor, Maine, we were just like walking around and we're like, ice cream sounds really good. So we just went into this like hole in the wall. It was seriously the best ice cream. It was the creamiest, most delicious ice cream we've ever had. It was so good. And I was like, where do you make this? And the person like pops their head out of the kitchen. They're like, right here, you know, and you're like, wow.
No way.
That's awesome.
So anytime people say they're going to go visit Bar Harbor, Maine, we're always like, oh my gosh, you have to go to this ice cream place. It's like the best. It's just so, so creamy and delicious. That's what I think of.
That is my favorite thing to do. Like whenever we travel is like looking up the best desserts. So like when we went to New York City and we had those cookies.
That's right.
The Levain
Oh,
cookies.
Levain cookies. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So good.
Did we do
What were
anything in
the-
Chicago?
What were the thing, yeah, what was that? Those little puff things.
Oh,
Puff things.
beard Papa.
What?
No, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It's because it's like an Indonesian place.
Oh my God. Yes.
Right? Is that what you're talking about? Like the
Yes.
bread that has like the butter injected into the middle, but it's got like that crunchy.
Those
like, cinnamon.
truly were some of the best things I've ever had.
Yeah.
With
I
a
don't
cup
know.
of coffee. Oh.
I'm looking it up.
They're
Right
more
now.
like
remember it being called that.
pastry. Yeah, beard papa. Right? It's like the little cartoon.
Yeah.
Guy.
That's right.
I'm looking it up. See if
I think
Oh.
that's right.
Those were so good. I remember because I had contemplated bringing one home to Alex because I was like,
That's
this texture.
It just like
is-
melts in your mouth.
Oh my gosh, yum.
I don't
Did
know.
you find it?
No, I tried to look up Chicago. Although, just like a little tip, every once in a while I kind of go on these like diet kicks, if you want to call it that, like attempting certain fads and usually they like restrict sugar. So if you have a sweet tooth, but you don't want to be eating sweets, a couple of teas in the evening kind of curb that sweet tooth. Lemon loaf tea by Tazo. So delicious and it tastes like a lemon loaf. And Mom introduced me to this cinnamon cardamom tea that tastes like Christmas in a cup. So it's really good. Or Bengal spice. It's like really yummy and sweet. So anyways, just like a nice little tip. If you want a sweet thing, but like maybe not the calories, try a tea.
Oh, I'm second guessing what those actually were.
No, they were roti. Wasn't it roti?
Oh, it was roti. Because
Papa roti. Was it
maybe
Papa
that's what it
roti?
was. Oh yeah, they're coffee buns because the top part is like a coffee flavor. Here it is.
That's it.
Oh, it's closed permanently.
Oh.
Sad. That's what it is. Papa roti.
Oh, winning Papa
Good
roti.
job. You remembered.
Well, because I was seeing like all I could see was like roti, and I was thinking like Greek food. I don't know.
and roti, that's the the word for red.
What are you eating right now, Abby?
Currently,
Oh man.
I'm a sucker for all the pumpkin yumminess. Molly happens to have pumpkin spice dipped sandwich cookies. Pumpkin spice flavored cookies with vanilla cream filling dipped in white chocolate.
They're
That sounds-
store bought.
They
They're
are.
not homemade.
Oh, but they're so good.
That sounds good.
That's
They're
my
very
man.
rich.
Yum. Well, this was fun.
So
Desserts.
fun.
Yep.
You just never know what the word's gonna be.
And where the conversation will take us.
It was sweet.
Oh, boo.
Yikes.
Well, I say now it's your turn, listener. Take our word from today, desserts, and take it to your people and see where the conversation takes you. And then let us know how it goes in the comments on YouTube or Instagram or on Spotify.
Thanks for joining us today. Catch us on the next one.
All right. Love ya.
Love you more. Bye.